What are the three things you value most in life?
Number one is community. I think community is as like a creative person and someone who enjoys, who like holds that as kind of my purpose at this time. I think community fosters creativity in a very unique and important way. I think I don't know, we have these images of like people being like, I'm gonna go write a book by myself in a log cabin in Maine, or I don't know, on Walden Pond or whatever. But I don't know. And I think there have been powerful works created solo, but I think some of the most impactful and I think enjoyable work for myself has always been done with others. So community, number one, that I hold. It also applies to like normal life stuff. I think it's just like it's nice to be taken care of and be held and have that space for things in life. Okay, now it's getting hard. Community is like my go-to for everything. Number two, I think listening. I think, and I use the word listening, but I think I like it. That includes like the idea of empathy. It's just that ability to hear and hold other people and people who aren't yourself, and to create space for other people to express. I think it's an element. I think one, it's an element of community, and two, I think it just builds better people. I think it makes you better at whatever it is you want to do, that you're open and constantly learning by hearing people around you who are in your field, your environment, what have you. You know what? It sounds like a joke. It's not a joke. Third one's food for sure. I think
Everyone says food, and you think you're
good,
joking. Everyone says food.
good. That honestly makes me feel good. Like, I don't know. I think food is what I have found so much joy in the last year, as food being a creative outlet for me, like to create in a way that is material and like uses my brain and uses my hands and my body, but isn't my like work. I love it for that reason. I love it because it's good. I love food for so many reasons. And on top of all of those weird emotional, like fucking metaphorical bullshit, it's just good. So yeah, community, listening, and food. Those are my three. Wow. Okay. Okay, Lou. All right.
Tell me a memory which shaped you.
Oh, okay. Oh man, this podcast is fun.
Thank you.
I'll tell you a sad one. I'll tell you a sad one. Why not? Now, because I don't know, because immediately you said it, and this is the first thing I thought of. Because I think it's at like the core of me as a person, or I guess the core of my struggle. When I was 10 years old, my parents lied and said I lived with my friend at his house so that I could go to a municipal summer camp, like a summer camp put on by the city. And the main goal of the camp was it was for kids in my hometown whose parents couldn't take care of them like during the day because they had to work full time. Like essentially it's like a during summer when the parents need to work full time, you can't pay for a sitter, you can't pay for like expensive summer camp. This is like the city summer camp where the kids, they hold on to the kids until you are done. And so the people who used and went to the camp were very much like predominantly African American, predominantly working class, lower middle class. And my parents sent me there for two reasons. One, because I begged them to go. I was like, I want to go to this camp so badly. Because my friend Keto went there and like talked all about it and how they went to Hurricane Harbor, which is a water park, and this Six Flags, which is like a theme park. And I was like, please, please, I want to go. But then also, I think they thought it would be good because I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood. I went to a predominantly white school. And so it was like, here you go, come to this like predominantly African American space. I'll hang out there. I'll meet African American kids. I'll hang out. And all of those things came true. I like hung out, made friends, like got to connect with my community a little bit more than I had been in like my scholastic life, which, you know, as a kid is like most of your life. And so, yeah, it was really great. And then at some point during the summer, I don't remember when, we're at the pool. I was like, I've been bigger my whole life. And so I got the nickname pretty quickly there of Heavy D. Heavy D is a rapper from the mid 90s.
So was
Um,
it a positive or a negative nickname?
incredibly positive. I think it's weird because I was a kid and I had no idea who Heavy D was. And so I think I focused on the word heavy, and I was like, oh, it's because I'm big. And then I don't know. It's funny. It's like jumping like to another part of the story. I'll come back to this. I'll come back to the nickname Heavy D. But I was like, I got the nickname Heavy D. I loved it. Fun fact: Lou is not my real name, but Heavy D is kind of I think is part of the origin story of me falling in love with nicknames and kind of the feeling of camaraderie and connection that comes with a chosen name that like people hold and respect and call you by because you asked them to. I think this is like the first time somebody is like, we're going to name you, we're going to give you a name, and I embraced it, and it felt like, oh, I feel more connected to these people because they call me not what the government knows me as, but because of what they know me as. And so that's one part of it, which is the nice part. It's funny. I'm now realizing that's the first time I ever had like a real nickname, or like yeah, that's the first time I had a nickname. Yeah. So Heavy D. So that's part of it. I'm called Heavy D at this camp. One day at the pool, I'm running around being a young 10-year-old boy without a care. And one of the counselors, not another kid, like a counselor. And of course, these counselors are not like professionals. This is a municipal summer camp. The counselors are like, 14, 15-year-olds who work at the local high school for the most part. One of those people, I'm running around the pool, like yells at me like, "Ooh." I don't know if there was an ooh there. That's just the energy of it. It's like, "Oh, damn, Heavy D running around with them big ass titties." Like making fun of my little man boobs that I had going on due to my size. And I think that for me is what I like call the inciting incident of like deep, deep shame with regard to my body, which I think leads to me having diminished like self-worth and self-esteem throughout like my high school years, which leads to me constantly feeling a need to earn and feel held and wanted in spaces by my peers, which leads to me realizing that I'm really good at making people laugh, to earn that space and earn the feeling of admiration from my peers. And it all kind of ties back to this woman making fun of my chest and the size of it when I was 10 years old. Oh, and the thing I was going to say is that later I would go and listen. Heavy D is this guy who's very incredibly body positive, and like it's like all of his songs are about how he's big and how that's fucking awesome. But I don't know, I didn't embrace that part of it as a kid. And things I would go back and tell 10-year-old Lou is to go actually listen to what Heavy D is saying.
It's interesting that you bring up that because so as I'm starting estrogen,
Mhm,
I started estrogen a couple of months ago,
mhm,
and one of the parts of taking estrogen is that you grow breasts.
mhm,
But there's a part of me which is from when I was a kid, people taking the piss out of me for being like I was also quite large when I was a kid,
mhm,
and people used to like very make me very self-conscious over that. So now I'm developing breasts and I'm like, well, part of me is like, this is awesome because I
mhm.
want them. But there's a part of me in the back of my head which is like, this sucks. Oh
Yeah,
my God. Yeah. And it's like, it's like it's a tiny, just a little whisper of shame,
yeah,
just being like, you
yeah.
shouldn't have this, even though it's fine. No one cares. Like, in fact, for who I want to become, this is the ideal.
I don't know. You hold on. It is impactful how much these like early memories really shape, and like it is like it's not loud. It's just it's quiet, but it's there and it's present.
What's your favorite color?
I am tempted to say blue, and I don't know why I'm tempted. I feel like I should just say blue because it's what I want to say. I think there was a while I was running around saying silver. I feel like I don't want to lie to you. Like that really is like, Lou, really ask yourself, is it blue? Is it blue? Orange was it for a while, silver was it for a while. But I do think in the modern in the modern era, in the days within which we live currently. Yeah, blue's my favorite color.
Tell me in as much detail as you can about something you knew of which once existed and now does not.
Oh, okay. See, that's a great question. That's a
Thank
top-notch
you.
question. What is something I know of? Looking around my room for inspiration, what are things I've had? What are parts of my life? I'll tell you about Loser Table. Loser Table was my first improv group when I moved out to Los Angeles. It was comprised of my best friend, Jeremy, who I did improv with in high school and who was kind of part of my impetus in moving out to Los Angeles to like pursue a career in acting and writing. And we agreed when we agreed in like high school, or we agreed like sophomore year of college that we were going to move out to LA and do it. And then we moved out here, and our first thing was that we like wanted to start doing improv, which is what we were good at and like what our hearts loved. And so we started doing improv, and it was a 3-man team that was comprised of myself, my friend Jeremy, and his friend Brad, who would over time become my mutual friend. And we started practicing a lot, but we didn't know about coaching. We didn't know where to find a coach. We didn't know any coaches. So we just did improv, the three of us together, by ourselves. And we were like really committed. We started like paying for practice spaces, though it was just the three of us. I think we had dreams of growing into something bigger and like doing more and like having more like going for us. But we like tried to bring people in. We like several people we started inviting to practice with us, but none of them really lasted. And plus, the best work we ever did was always just with ourselves. There's a scene that we did once that I'll never forget, that I'll always hold to be like one of my favorite scenes I've ever done as an improviser, which was with them. We were in like a rented space on the west side. We'd all driven like 45 minutes to get to the space that we had rented, and we were practicing there. And then we would do these long scenes. We would do scenes that were like 45 minutes long because it was just fun. It was fun to just improvise and live in spaces for that long. And so we did a scene where we were three executives at Fruit Loops who like a child had found glass in like a box of Fruit Loops. And we were talking about how we were going to handle it. And, in the course of doing that, all of our kind of interweaving lives and the problems we were having came out, and the problems we had with each other came out. And I don't know, we like build to this really beautiful like apex, everyone's shouting, then we get all quiet. And then I remember I said something like, well, what if we just blame the kids? And then we all agree that like that's the plan. We're gonna blame the kid. The kid is the reason there's glass in the box. It's not the Fruit Loops. And it was just like it was like this and I remember we just like all started like crying, laughing, and it was just like oh, this is why I love this art, and this is why I have dedicated so much time to it. And yeah, Loser Table I think only had maybe one or two actual shows. We like competed in a cage match and like lost in the second round. Yeah, we didn't like do too much, but it was the first improv group I ever did in Los Angeles, and I'm still very good friends and hang out and play D&D now with the two guys who were members of it. But yeah, Loser Table was my first improv team in LA, though it no longer exists.
What, if anything, is perfect?
What, if anything, is perfect? That's like a crazy question. That's like a brain breaker. Like that's like, because what is perfection, right? What does it mean for something to be perfect? That means it's without flaw. Like that's the nature of what, like
Is it?
that's like, oh, don't Tessa, don't. You're about to have
Is
me
it?
Googling Tessa. I don't want to have to Google the definition of perfection. I don't know what is without flaw. That's so if I'm approaching it from that place of like I hold something that's perfect is something that is exactly the way it's. I guess that's how I would hold it. I would hold the idea of something as perfect as being exactly how it's supposed to be, without flaw or need to change or grow or evolve. It's the best it can be. It can't get better. I'm not perfect. I can get better. There are ways I'm actively working to get better. This scented candle is pretty good. Is it perfect? Is this Bath and Body Works aromatherapy energy lemon zest scented candle?
Not
Perfect.
sponsored.
Not oh yeah, I'm not this isn't sponsored, by the way. I'm not sponsored. I would never come onto a podcast and talk about the scented candles I had within arm's distance, hoping that somebody at Bath and Body Works is listening and wants to send me free candles. I love candles so much. I'm tempted to say something like insane. Not insane, but I'm telling I like the first thing that came to mind, I was like, the sky's pretty perfect. I don't know. I feel like there's part of me that's tempted to say like the natural world. Like that's like that, I don't know, the sky, trees, the ocean, animals, like those things are perf are they perfect? The only reason we would think they're imperfect is because of things that we know as human beings that we can adjust or implement to make them better. But as they are, oh, is anything perfect? I think I'm gonna say no. I might say the sky. I think I might say the sky. I think I'm gonna fall back on the sky. I just I do think the sky is perfect. Clouds are perfect. Can clouds get better? This question is insane. What is the answer? What is like? I mean, of course, the answer is whatever I want it to be. This is like teaching me about my own brain because it's like, well, what I want there to be an answer. I want to give you an answer more than I want to say no. I honestly feel like saying no is a fucking cop out. Um, but then why don't I just say like cheddar cheese? Like I don't know. Like could cheddar cheese be better than it is? I don't think so. Could a block of Tillamook cheddar cheese be better? Could a block of Colby of sharp cheddar cheese be better than how it currently is? Maybe not. I don't think so. I think it's as good as it gets. Maybe. Are they working at the Tillamook factory? I don't.
You can curse on this podcast, by the way. It's totally okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Fuck. No, no. Okay. Okay. What's something that's perfect to me? What is something that in the way that it is, I love it, and it doesn't need to change at all?
You're taking me on a journey here. This is excellent.
Hey, this is why I talk out. This is the reason I talk out loud because I think it's more. I don't know. I could do it all internally, but why not? Why not? Why not? Hey, let's ride the lightning together. The lightning, of course, being your question in my brain. Yeah. I think the thing that is perfect just the way it is. And I don't need to change a thing about it. Now I'm in the realm of like food. I'm very much leaning on that of the Tillamook cheddar cheese argument of like there are food that's currently being made out there that I love and there's nothing and I take it exactly the way it comes and I don't ask for any changes or substitutions. I don't say make it this way, do this to it. I say give me that the way it is and I say thank you and then I consume it and I'm happy. I'm gonna answer this question. I swear. This is breaking me. This is kind of breaking me. I was like, this pizza that you love, and I was like, no, the pizza has too much crust. Like that's something I would ask. I could do with a better dough.
So you're trying to find something, and then you're checking it in your head.
Then I'm doing the work. Hey, what do you think? I would never lie to you, Tessa. Okay, I would not. That's insane that I would just say something so that we could move on and the podcast would move forward. The idea that we could just keep the momentum going, no. I think it's in the realm of ice cream. I think ice cream is one of the things that when I get it, I'm never like, I want this with other stuff. I'm always like, this is good the way it is. I don't want hot fudge on it. I don't want caramel. So I think it's an ice cream. That's the food I'm thinking about the most. That keeps coming up because I'm like, this. I like this exactly the way it is. And you know what? With that, I think I'm about to sound more pretentious than I ever have in my whole life. But that's what this podcast is about. The truth. I am super into there is a really fancy gourmet ice cream parlor in Los Angeles that does a goat cheese and olive brittle ice cream that I think is perfect. I don't think there's anything to change about it. I think it's so out there that I have a very difficult time even nailing down what you could possibly change about it. So yeah, I think that the goat cheese and olive brittle ice cream from Salt and Straw in Los Angeles is perfect.
Who is your favorite character from fiction of any kind?
that I can do. Like that kind of stuff is more my favorites I can get into. I was trying to give you something that I think is perfect, and that is hard. But if you're asking me my preference, this I know. My favorite character from fiction. I like it's funny because something immediately came to my head and I like it as an answer, but I am, as you know, I'm now doing the due diligence of going like, who else do I like? I do like Hagrid, but I don't think he's my favorite. The owl from the Zelda games is out, though I love him. The Gorons are out. Commander Shepard is out. Who else is coming for the throne? Yeah, it is Detective Carter, who's a character played by Chris Tucker in the action comedy films Rush Hour. And yeah, Detective Carter, I don't know, he's like I think it's in part because like it's so of Chris Tucker, and Chris Tucker is one of my like comedy idols and aspirations. But I don't know, this character is so like delightfully charming and loud and like filled with so much life, but at the same time like committed and concerned. And it's like, I don't know, he doesn't have it's almost like he's a perfect foil to like Jackie Chan's character, who has all of the skill, who has all the same stuff, like all the same like emotional drives and like empathy that like Detective Carter does. Detective Carter just can't do like flips and like kicks and shit. But I don't know, what he brings is energy and life and vitality to everything, and like a sense of humor. And I love Detective Carter.
What fascinates you?
People. I think people get like a bad rap. We read the news and we get these like we get these big people who like everyone like talks about these people, and I think we're so eager, and it's so easy to group people and be like, oh, these people all do this, and I bet these people all did this or do this thing, and I bet that they're all like this, and we love to like parse it, like we love to be like, here, I already know your story. And I don't know, I think that the depth of the human experience is so incredible, and the nuances. I mean, like even my own stuff is like so specific to me and who I was and what I've done and where I grew up, and all of these like different variables that can lead to so many incredible and different. I was talking to somebody the other day who I learned that like kids in Oklahoma like to do this thing called hitting the freon, where they suck the freon out of an AC thing and it gets you high. And like that's, I don't know, what? What? Who does that? Why? And I don't know, those kind of that like I get off on hearing stuff like that harder than like, not in like a sexual way. I feel like I'm using a lot of sexual words. Get off and hard. But no, I just yeah, I get really jazzed up when I hear about a way of living or a thing that people do that is so far from my own experience as like a person, because it's crazy to think like I'm alive, like I could have hit the freon, I could have started sucking, I could have been getting high off of AC machines, but like I was not in a space or around the right people to do that. So it's like, you were okay, great, I now have 1,000 more questions for you about how did we get to there, because people always like start at the end. And then personally, I'm fascinated in how you got there. I'm not satisfied by hearing that you hit the freon. I want to know which one of your friends watched the YouTube video or hung out with the right, like, addict who was like, well, let me tell you, dude, when I'm really jonesing, this is what I do. And then they were like, I think it'd be cool if we did that. Like, I'm so into that. So people.
What other job would you like to do if you weren't doing this?
Can't do creative stuff. Is it that I can't be doing creative stuff at all? Like what kind of like non-creative job I would have, or what kind of job would I have if I wasn't doing the specific realm of creativity
Specific
that I'm doing?
The
Okay.
specific realm of creativity. I mean, as a creative person, I think that if I was to ask you to eliminate creativity, well, especially after the beginning where you said that like community and the creative process is one of the most important things, it wouldn't really be an interesting question, would it?
Fair. Fair.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give you three answers because I'm
Cool.
lame like that. I would be happy doing any of three things. I think I could have been a great lawyer. My mother's a lawyer. I can talk. I talk good. I talk real good. And I'm persuasive, and I don't know, I think I could have been a really great litigator. and I think I would have liked it. I think especially if I was doing, I don't know, my mom worked for the government and, kept bad people from doing bad stuff. Like she did good work. And so there's part of me that's like, I think I would have. And that can be there's like a community oriented. I like being on a team of people who are figuring out arguments, and like that kind of creativity excites me. I can very much see myself doing that. Before I was going to be in acting, do acting stuff, I was like on track to be in public relations or advertising. I'm not sure. I don't think that I'm going to take that one away. I don't think I would want to. I now have friends in advertising who I talk to, and I think the creative part is fun, but the fact that it's creating for businesses and the goal is money, like even more intensely than like, I don't know, at least here they're like, well, we want money, but I guess like at the end of the day, if it's good, that's what matters more because then it'll lead to money down the road. Like I don't know, there at least like there's a little bit like of a half step removed of like the monetary goals. Like in advertising, it's literally like, hi, so you're gonna make this and it better lead to money. So I don't think that would be that. The last one is dancing. I think like dancing is something I think is awesome and incredible. And I think the world of dancing is muddled and weird. But I love the idea of being able to dance well enough. I guess that's more skill I want rather than a career I want. So I'm going to take that one back as well, leaving the only answer being lawyer. I'd be a lawyer. There you go. That's my process. I say I have three answers. I say the real one, then I say two lame ones, or not lame, two other ones, realize they are invalid, and we're left with lawyer. I think I'd be a lawyer.
And because of that process, I think you'd make a very good lawyer.
Oh, see, Tessa, you get it.
Yeah.
You get it.
What is your most prized physical possession?
Looking around my room, I'm a very sentimental person. I don't throw stuff away. I'm really bad at it. And by stuff, I don't mean like wires and shit. Like I could throw away like a loose, like I could throw away like a broken cord. I'm not a hoarder, but like in this box, which is like it's a box of just things and trinkets from my life.
Hey folks, it's Tess checking in from the editing room. I just wanted to say that sometimes when you're recording a podcast like this, you get moments crystallized in time, which are so special and so sentimental that sometimes it doesn't feel exactly right to share with everyone else. In this case, Lou Wilson showed me the contents of a box filled with sentimental goods from his life. And while I don't think Lou would mind, I think I've made the decision that I want to keep that away from the podcast. However, I will say that the answer at the end is the tail end of a discussion which would last at about 10 minutes, which was absolutely lovely. Usually I would just cut this out and you wouldn't be hearing any of this, but Lou references the conversation that we have a little bit later on, so just to give you some clarification on why he does that. Okay, enjoy the rest of the show.
My mom's business card. You can't read anything that's written on it because it's so faded. But this is my mom's business card, and dropped me off at college when I was 18, and I went to school on the East Coast, and my family lives on the West Coast. They all wrote on the back of one of her business cards and gave it to me, and that was like kind of what I held on to as being a memory of them while I went off and lived my life. And I still have it. It's incredibly faded. I can still read it, and I don't know. I'll keep it for as long as I can.
I'm also a very sentimental person.
Yes.
Just to let you know, I keep shit all the time. It's awesome.
It's just memories. I don't know. Life is beautiful and awesome, and I don't know. I don't think I'm ever gonna forget it. But like, how nice to have, if only for this moment, if only for like right now, and what it meant to show these things to you, and to be reminded of how important they are to me. Come on now.
Yeah, you can't get better than that.
Exactly. If they can fit in a tiny little box that takes up a little bit of room in my desk, worth it, personally.
If you can name a hot sauce, what would you call it and why?
Okay, this is great. Because, we have to start at the beginning, which is, what kind of hot sauce is it? And so for me, of course, I'm not a kick you in the mouth just to let you know just to do it kind of guy. I'm a flavor over spice kind of guy. So we're already we're in the realm of like a hot sauce that's like more for flavor, and like you put it on and it tastes great more than it's like just kicking. So it's like a more mild but incredibly flavorful hot sauce. which I feel like leads to like less a like devil's kiss and more like a like I was about to use the word abuela, but that feels like cultural appropriation. I feel like I'm probably gonna do like a black thing, so it's probably gonna be like cousin Ray, sweet baby Ray. I'm thinking about the hallmarks of black sauce. You know, you got Stubbs, you got Sweet Baby Ray. I don't know if anyone in Ireland's gonna understand these references, but that's fine.
It goes up on Spotify, so it's like it's for the world.
Exactly. Go Google it. Okay. Don't laugh at me.
I'm not gonna laugh at you.
You promise?
I promise. I'm probably not gonna laugh.
If you laugh, if you laugh, you will have broken a promise. No, we're gonna go with it's
You're laughing saying it. How are you saying?
yeah, okay. Well, hey, so that I'm allowed. Hey, I didn't make a promise not to laugh. Okay, no, we're gonna go with it's gonna be Big Lou's Bingo Bango sauce. See, I knew it. I knew you'd laugh. I knew you'd laugh. I really love like I absolutely love a dumb kind of like nonsense word thrown into something. Really does it for me. So kind of came around, and then I was like, I'll use just my name because it's fun enough. So Big Lou's Bingo Bango sauce, kind of like a little bit of heat, but not too much, but a whole lot of flavor, whole lot of probably tang. Probably got somewhere on the bottles the word tang written in like massive letters. But yeah, Big Lou's Bingo Bango sauce. BLBBS.
Oh, I should not have promised not to laugh, but that was also an unfair promise because I did not know the parameters. You
I
knew.
know. I wouldn't make you promise if I didn't think you were likely going to laugh. This is not a movie where I say some stuff that's like, oh, no one would ever laugh at that. No, this is pretty crazy as a series of words put in order. Yeah, Big Lou's Bingo Bango sauce.
What inspires you?
Inspiration being the idea of like what makes me want to do and be more or like or just or to continue in the ways that I am. I would again, I mean, hey, it was question 1 and here it comes back at 11. It's community. I think it's like the groups of people that I'm a part of are the things that like push me and make me want to strive to be, whether it be that my peers or friends are like doing exciting things or encouraging me to do exciting things. I know I keep people around and I always have who are very like aspirational to me. Like, I don't know, I'm lucky to call, not that they're my heroes, but maybe role models. I think that's maybe like too formal. I would never, I think, like go up to a friend and be like, you're a role model for me. But I don't know, I keep people, the people I like keep close to me are people that there's something about them that I intimately want to emulate and make a part of myself. And I hope that by being around them enough, it'll osmosis into my body. But yeah, I think like it's like the people I keep around me who I want to be great for because there is some great element about them that I enjoy having in my life. I consider my family to be a part of my community as well. And like their pride and admiration is something that really drives me. So community, bringing it back.
Did you ever have an epiphany? If so, what was it about?
Yeah, I did. I've had a couple, and a lot of them have happened recently. The sounds I'm making right now are around like to do a lot of structuring. I don't like being raw in like a presentational setting like this. I know you would likely encourage me and be supportive of that, and I thank you for that. But I don't know, I think there's always part of me that likes to like put myself together before I like deliver whatever is going to be my answer. Even if it's like working through it in a fun way, I think there's still like a bit of thought put into like, well, this is how I want to communicate that. I'm trying to shape this. What I think the epiphany is like relatively raw and like very personal. So I'm trying to like, what's like the best way to communicate that idea or the idea of kind of that, make that more like digestible for another person, maybe even learn something from it. Wow, it's funny. You asking me this question makes me realize I've had like 4 epiphanies, it feels like in the last maybe like 9 months. And I guess it's less than epiphany and a lot of them are just like deep internalized beliefs about myself and the world that I'm reckoning with and being like, these are not true. It's a lot of them are like dismantling, I think, like, but they happen like epiphanies. Like it was like one day I just went like, oh, that's horseshit. Recently, I would say like beginning of June, I have had the epiphany that I am the best me I'm ever going to be. No one is ever going to be better at being Lou Wilson than I am. And I can hold that and realize how special and incredible it is to be me, and how lucky people are to know and experience me because of incredibly and uniquely Lou I am. And with that, that if anyone does not wholly value and consider themselves blessed to get to be a part of my life, that is their loss, and that it is not a loss on my part. I have not lost anything because that person, by wanting something than who I am in all of its parts, that them by wanting something that is not me, they are the one who is losing something. I no longer need to bend and break to keep people around. I guess is, I think, the more condensed version of this. I no longer need to bend and break to keep people around. Those people are lucky to have me. I do not need them. And if anything, they are a detriment to my existence.
I had a similar realization when it comes to like. So as a kid, I was bullied relentlessly because I was, weird.
Mhm,
I think, especially as I came through college, so I'm currently doing my master's in political science,
mhm,
and I did my undergrad, and I realized that I encountered a lot of other people where my uniqueness gave me not an edge, but like there was a lot of people who were making themselves or running themselves into unhappiness because they were trying to fit in and trying to do the same things they did in school. But I
yeah,
never had those patterns because I never got on in school.
mhm,
And it wasn't ever that I had the chance for people to. I didn't ever have the chance to lie. Like I lied to myself about a lot of other things, being
yeah,
trans and everything like that. But being me and being like expressive and open about my interests and being enthusiastic, there was a sort of, I noticed among people there was a sort of a shame or an attempt to shame me for being enthusiastic. And in
yes.
reality, enthusiasm, most people would actually like, do you want to live your life and reach the end of your existence and say, oh, well, I was not enthusiastic enough?
Thank you, dude. Thank you. Yeah,
Do you want to be the sort of person who on your deathbed asks, did I say I love you too much or too little? And which would you prefer?
yeah,
I
yeah.
relate wholeheartedly um, to
I
that
don't know.
realization.
It's a powerful one, and I think it'll serve us both well for the rest of. I think the rest of our lives will be better because of it,
Hmm.
and we're lucky to have learned it when we did. I think there are a lot of people who learn it really late and try and buy a Corvette to make themselves to be like, this is for me," and then you're like, okay,
Is it
uh,
though?
is
Is
it
it?
though?
Yeah. Do you want a Corvette or do you want to play D&D? Is that what you actually want to
Exactly,
do? Yeah.
exactly. What do you actually wish you'd like? I don't know. I'm glad we learned early and young, and I think I don't know. We've had a lot of hardship, but I don't know. I'd like to believe that we get to live more beautifully now because of it.
If you could say your creativity had a theme, what would that theme be?
Yeah, I would say that I think a lot of the stuff I do is like, I mean, I don't know. For like right now, it's just a lot of words. It's not like it's not like a thing that I feel like I can be like, it's this. But I think it's like, I don't know. The stuff I do is human. It's like it's deeply like grounded in our experience, even if it's absurd, even if it gets to an absurd place. Everything I do, I think, and have written starts in a very like grounded human place, and it's exuberant, it's loud, it's big, it asks more. I'm not a subtle person. I'm not someone who is quiet or who like is like who uses only as many words as he needs. I take my creativity takes up space. So I would say that it's deeply human and takes up a lot of space.
What makes you smile?
God, just about everything. I mean, that's give me a reason to smile and I'll take it. It's generally how I've lived my life. Yeah, I don't know. That's that like I can't I mean, I could make you a list. But I guess what if I had to like distill it down to like I don't know, the thing that's like floating around in my head is this idea of like what is that a form of? What are the things that I'm looking at and smiling? The word connection is, I think, like, is what I'm thinking about right now, and it's like anything or these things that link me to somebody else, like that give us a moment of a shared experience, whether it be like the when the video chat starts and you see me and I see you, whether it's like the thing that I'm in a park and I watch it happen with a bunch of people around me, you coming around the corner at the coffee shop and you seeing me and me seeing you, the experience I'm having alone that I know that I'm going to talk about with somebody else later, things that I know will bring about connection with other people make me smile.
I love that. And that's made me smile.
Look at that. See? I don't know, even something like that, even an answer, something saying something that I know will reverberate or be impactful to somebody else. That makes me smile. Like, I don't know, it's distilled down. It's all of those things that I know will become a shared experience or either are a part of or will become a shared experience with people I love.
Tell me about something you learned recently that amused you.
Stevie Wonder's real name is Stevelyn Judkins, I guess, which is, I think, maybe one of the first times I've ever heard of somebody's name, real name being crazier than their fake stage name. I wonder if there's anyone else in history named Stevelyn. So there you go. That I learned that yesterday, and it tickled me pink.
What is beautiful?
Woo! Tessa out here with the big questions. Is anything perfect? What makes you smile? What is beautiful? Well, you know, I'm an ethereal person, so we're not going to talk about beauty in the sense of physical beauty. We're going to talk about beauty in the sense of what does it mean to be beautiful? Things that are beautiful are things that are, I don't know, that draw the eye. Well, what is it? Is it aesthetic beauty? No, we're not talking about aesthetic beauty. We're talking about like inherent beauty. If we're talking about inherent beauty, then we're talking about things that are internalized. And so if we're talking about things that are internalized, then we're talking about the beauty of something is something that is held inside, that is so potent that it shines outside and we're able to see it or recognize it. And with that being the definition of beauty by which I'm going to attempt to answer, to put some kind of bars on your credible question, I would say that things that are beautiful are things that are wholly and confidently themselves and not holding back at all. It is wholly what it is. Now, I'm realizing that the parameters I put on myself with which to try and answer this question are difficult to maneuver within. I don't know. The thing I'm like thinking about is like things that are beautiful. Yeah, I think that things are like the thing I'm like trying to like grab onto or like put into better words, better like a better presentational pack is the idea of like things that are confident and wholly the way they are meant to be and like shine through in that. Right now I'm thinking about a grilled cheese sandwich. And I'm trying to apply this logic because I think like I'm answering it from a very like human place and like thinking about humans and what does it mean for humans to be beautiful. But now I'm thinking about a grilled cheese sandwich and how beautiful that is and how to, because I think that the idea lines up for both. I think what I'm trying to say that it feels very like connected to the idea of like humans connects can connect to this grilled cheese sandwich. And that's the work I'm trying to do in my head quietly right now. Things that are beautiful that feel confidently, that I think you see a level of confidence in how they are, or in confidence in how they are, what they are. You look at them and you're like, ooh, that's how it's supposed to be. That's like you look at it, the pictures we see of grilled cheese that I consider beautiful, that I'm holding in my head as beautiful, are things that are exactly the way that are confidently. It's like that grilled cheese knows that is it is what I manifest in my head when you say grilled cheese. That person is beautiful, that looks exactly and confidently the way they believe themselves to be or they should look. And that internalized feeling oozes out into their essence. And so that definition of beauty jumps. It's not a thing. It is just that. It is that internalized thought being present in the subject.
That's a great answer.
That wasn't an easy answer. All right. We had to get there, but I like it. I like where we got.
The fact that you kind of drove away from the kind of purely aesthetic, like,
Yeah.
X tall, X, this is like a more holistic view of beauty and that many things can be beautiful.
Yes.
It also reflects because you can't see inner beauty, but there is such a thing as inner beauty.
Yeah,
So
I think there's so many images that we look at that are stunning to us because that's the feeling we're talking about. It's like that feeling when you look at an image, like because that beauty is kind of this thing of like I was trying to think of it in terms of like, well, what if I was, blind or like could not see? What is beauty for that person? And that got too hard. So I just kind of, and I was like, this question's for me. So I like moved away from that. It's that feeling when you look at something and you go like, wow, or you want to show it to somebody, or you yourself are like, need to take a second to like fully ingest what it is. And it was like, I feel that for not just people. I feel that for food. I feel that for coats. I feel that for clothes. Like it's what are those things that you need to take a second to like process and understand what they are. It's not the actual aesthetics of them. It is the reality of them that they are so they are like this is that thing.
would you describe yourself as cute and cuddly?
Oh, yeah. Not before October 2019. Honestly, not before February 2020. I think I've described myself as cuddly often. I think I've like put on my Tinder profiles. I've put cuddly and then been like, this feels weird. And like taking it off. But I now inherently hold and know both those things to be true. But I haven't always felt that way. We do this podcast in 2018. I don't think you get this answer. I think you get like a weird like like I mean, oh yeah, like but now it's a quiet and subtle yes, very cute, very cuddly.
Where do you feel safest?
Mm. I don't know. I'm always it's funny, all these questions keep making me go like this, like there's like such a like similar thought pattern every time of like hearing the question, knowing an answer, then like being like honestly almost like therapy, being like go deeper. Like that's not enough. I'm never like satisfied by my first like the answer I come with. And I feel obligated to like parse it. Like you said safest, and I was like, okay, well, what is safe and what am I going to define for myself as being safe? Because the easy answer is like bodily harm, and it's like a panic room, like, or I don't know, with like in my dad's room, like I for some reason kept wanting to be like in my dad's room with with his gun, or I don't know, something that's just like where do I feel most like I will not accrue bodily harm, but that is something I don't generally fear. But I am now thinking about the word safe as being wholly myself and being fully myself and not thinking that other people's the question makes me think about the harm that I've endured in my life, and the harm that has come on to me is mostly in the personal sense and people invalidating my humanity and my dignity and telling me how I am rather than asking me how I am. And so I think about spaces and places where that has happened at the least, or places where I know that won't happen, which is going to make me give my answer that is not my first thought, but was my second thought. Or was it my first thought? We'll never know. I'm going to say the stage. Yeah, I feel wholly a master of my environment, and like no one can tell me anything about myself or harm me in the way that I've most traditionally been harmed when I'm on stage.
If you were on a starship, what position would you hold?
Okay. I tried to answer so quickly because I was like, oh yeah, I think I want to be I'm not the captain, but I'm on the bridge. I'm on the bridge for sure. I think I'm the navigator. Was Spock the navigator? I'm the person they say chart a course to. They're like, get us, and I'm like, got it. I'm not the engineer. I'm not like the math guy. I'm not the weapons guy. I don't do any like the mathy stuff. Like anything that would require like background, like understanding machines. I'm like, no. But like the stuff that's like just like, oh, who knows the stars best? And what's the best way to get from one star to another? That feels like me. And I have like a team of people that I consult with about how to get between stars. Yeah, I'm in some kind of navigatorial. Is that a word?
It is now.
It is now. I'm in some kind of navigatorial. I know it's not a word, and I know there is a word that fits better and has less syllables.
Cartographical?
Oh, beautiful. I'm in some kind of cartographical sense employed on the star trip. I'm the guy who gets us from point A to point B, but not in like a the engines firing kind of way, more like beautiful mindy. Like he's charted the perfect course in his head for how to get us out of this nebula. That's my Bob.
Do you think there is more good than bad in the world?
Oh, god damn. It's funny because I know Jesus, that's a hitter. It's funny because I know Brennan's answer.
You know
We've
Brennan's answer.
I do. We've talked about it a lot. We've gone deep, and I think I will answer. I will give an answer inspired partially by his of maybe not his answer, but what he believes to be true about good and evil in the world. There is more good than bad in the world, but the bad works harder because it knows that it is not the majority, and the good is more comfortable and doesn't do as much because the good knows that it is the majority, which leads to situations in which the bad, where it is incredibly impactful because of how hard it is working and how mild the good's response is, because the good assumes that because it is so prevalent that someone will do something. And so there is more good than bad in the world, but it's time for the good to realize that the bad isn't going to go away, and if anything is only going to grow if we continue to have a mild mannered reaction to it in saying that, well, there's more good than bad, so we'll do something about it eventually, because there's more of us, we will win. I feel like especially in America right now, the extent to which we allow bad to continue and exist because we are like, well, we're the majority. There's more good than bad. So most people will have a good experience. But for some people, the bad is working so hard and is so prevalent that their experience is truly horrendous. And it requires the good to do more. Even though we are more, we must do more. There is more good than bad. But good needs to fucking wake up and get to work.